bless his soul, Joe Bugle, called me Stud, because he knew I wasn't going nowhere. I was going to be in pocket. He called me Pocket. He walked up to me. He said, "Hey, Stud, you don't have to play the second half." And I told him, I said, "Hey, Coach, I started this game. I'm going to finish this game."
Hi, folks. Welcome to The Legacy. I'm your host, Doc Walker. Each week, we try to combine a little old school with new school and one thing in mind, and that is to win. And we're winning this week because we have old number 17. I love calling him old. Doug Williams, the quarterback. Mr. QB, how are you?
I'm good. I guess I'm old because of all this career up under my chin, right?
Going back to draft day, my brother, what do you remember about early days in Tampa?
Well, fortunately, Doc, the coach I ended my career with actually was coaching in Tampa at that time. Joe Gibbs was coaching in Tampa.
Right.
And probably the one single reason why the Tampa Bay Buccaneers drafted me was Joe Gibbs is the only coach in pro football that came to Grambling to visit me. I was doing student teaching in Monroe at Shaq Harris alma mater at Carroll High School. And Coach Gibbs spent 2 days in Monroe, Louisiana, in the back of the class where I was teaching health and physical education.
I love to see that.
And Coach Gibbs sat through 2 days of class. And when the class was over, him and I get on the board. And, as I got older, I realized what he was doing. He was character checking. He was seeing how I dealt with young people and how I carried myself. He sat back there for 2 days. And he came back to Tampa, and Kenny Herock was the general manager. And they sat down with Coach McKay, and they told him, say, "Hey, if we're looking for a franchise quarterback, the only guy that's in this draft as a franchise quarterback is down in Grambling. So if we're going to do anything, that's who we should draft." Now, remember, Tampa had the number 1 pick in the draft at that time.
That's right.
But they were smart enough to know one thing about the National Football League. They was not picking a black quarterback number 1 in the draft in 1978.
Not happening.
And so what they do, they had the ability to trade. So they traded with the Houston Oilers and gave Houston the number 1 pick. And we got Jimmy Giles. We got about 4 or 5 other draft picks, and Tampa moved to number 17 pick, and I was the first round pick because they knew nobody else was gonna pick me in the first round, but they knew that I should have been. And we played a preseason game that year against the Atlanta Falcons. June Jones was the backup to Steve Barkowski.
Yeah. And
after that game, June Jones walked up to me and he said, "Hey man," he said, they screwed you. He said, "You should have been the number 1 pick in the whole league." And to this day, June Jones and I are good friends, and we always talk about that. He said, "You should have been the first pick in the whole draft."
At Honda, we take the holidays seriously. Both with serious rugged performance and serious capability. So while others might be dreaming of winter wonderlands, you could be shattering expectations with the best value of the season. Now's the best time to get into a new Honda. KBB.com's best value brand for 2020. Visit Happy Honda Days at your local Honda dealer or shop online to get a great offer on the Passport.
Free healthcare, hundreds to more than $1,000 per month in disability compensation, and tens of thousands for college tuition. These are just some of the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs benefits that may be available to veterans. VA is focused on customer service like never before. Choose VA and see why veterans' trust in VA reached an all-time high. Claim the benefits you've earned at choose.va.gov.
I'm stoked! Let's do this! Whoa! This is amazing! I know, right? Yeah! These new extreme scratch-offs! They're insane! Wait, what? Dude, $100 million in instant cash! Tons of $100,000 top prizes! Awesome! Let me see those! Oh, man! Take it to the extreme. Play new Extreme Scratch Offs from the Maryland Lottery and play safely and responsibly.
The best team has a great sense of family. The best family has a great culture. And within that culture, there is great character. When you have all those elements come together, you've got a team.
DC has a home for the greatest hits of all time.
That would be Michael Jackson for me.
DC's greatest hits.
Madonna.
Billy Idol.
Live here.
Cyndi Lauper.
Bon Jovi.
94.7.
Blondie.
The Eagles.
The Drive.
This part of the legacy is presented by your local Nissan dealers. For you, when you watch today's quarterbacks and these young men of African-American descent are doing things now that you watch Briscoe and you watch Shaq do their thing, what goes through your mind when you watch today's game?
Well, when you watch today's game, you got a lot of quarterbacks who have basically revolutionized the game, especially the black quarterbacks. Unfortunately, Marlon Briscoe would have fit in perfectly with these quarterbacks today for what he did way back when. But at that time, Marlon Briscoe wasn't the type of quarterback they was looking for. They was looking for the James Harris and the Doug Williams, but just not that color back then.
Right.
At the time. But I look at the young guys today, man, the young black quarterbacks certainly make me feel good. And, some people say, why do you say black quarterback? Because for years, they weren't given an opportunity. When I say that, I don't mean I don't like to see Brady play, and I don't like Aaron Rodgers and the Drew Breeses of the world, because I do. I love to see the way Aaron Rodgers can move around and throw it from any angle. But I also love to see Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes and Russell Wilson and Kyle Murray. Those guys make things happen. They put so much pressure on teams, and realize that years ago, the good old boys and that sits in the seats of general managers and head coaches and ownership probably wouldn't even dream of having those guys on the football team. And to me, I always say times have changed. It's not about the color of your skin these days as much as do you give my team an opportunity to win. I've always thought that it was about giving the opportunity. When I came here in 1986 and was able to play in the Super Bowl, it wasn't because I was black as much as I was given an opportunity. And when I went to the Super Bowl, I always told people all the time, I didn't go to the Super Bowl as a black quarterback. I went to the Super Bowl as Washington Redskins quarterback that just happened to be black. And that's the way it was.
Joe Gibbs, Bobby Bam, Jack King Cook didn't bring Doug Williams to San Diego to show off a black quarterback. We know why we came here. We came here to work hard and win the Super Bowl.
The road that you travel, boy, there were a lot of footprints, but they were small by the time you got to them. And you going down in the Super Bowl with an apparent knee injury, that took the breath of the Burgundy and Gold Nation. Keoke Kamau came over to you, you waved him off. That's when I knew, he'll get up again. Right. Talk us through that one.
Well, number one, to get to where I were at that particular time, and you're right, the road I traveled was less traveled. And not only that day, but the day before, I had a 4-hour root canal.
People that's right, the root canal. I had
a 4-hour root canal, and I didn't even practice on Saturday. And when I got back to the hotel, we was moving to our secret hotel for the night before the game, and we moved out to the Lawrence Welch Resort.
Yeah.
And for the young guys wouldn't understand that, but for the older guys, Lawrence Welch, right. If you understand who Lawrence Welch, you know what kind of music he played, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we walked in that room, and that music was going through your ear. I'm just coming off a root canal. It just didn't set well. We had to turn Lawrence Welch out, man. But you know what? I went to bed that night before I went to bed, went over all the play sheets and what was going to call. And I had my bag of Hershey Kisses. Every Saturday night, I had a bag of Hershey's Kisses. Yeah. And I found a way to put them Hershey's Kisses on the other side of my mouth because I had to get them down. And the next morning, I felt absolutely wonderful. I forgot that I had a root canal, and on that ride from Lawrence Welch Resort to Qualcomm Stadium,
That's right.
Doc, so many things went through my mind, and that was from which I come, from Zachary, Louisiana, to on probably the biggest stage in sports history, the Super Bowl, and I understood the history of me being the first black quarterback to play in the Super Bowl, but the most important thing,
start and win.
Right, but I couldn't go into the game thinking along that line.
Right.
Because the most important thing was go out and play well. Because I could have been the first black quarterback to play in the Super Bowl and been on the other side of the history. I had to go in and make sure I was on this side of the history. I was the winning side of the history. And to go in that game and the way our team played as a whole, they made it so easy for me. I was talking to Diana Warren not long ago, and I was talking about we ran a 50 bang. You would understand that. People wouldn't understand the 50 bang. And when I turned around and handed that ball to Timmy Smith, it scared the hell out of me. Why? Because wasn't nobody around. I didn't see an orange shirt nowhere in sight. I'm saying, what the what? And Timmy was off to the races, man. The offensive line dominated. The defensive line dominated. Defense, we had 3 turnovers. The receiver was off the chart. And we was running the ball. It was one of those days that it was the epitome of doing what you had to do when you talk about putting up offense. When you could score 35 points in only 18 plays. 18 plays now, the drive that you really want is a 12-play drive to get you 7 points. But when you can get 35 in 18 plays, it's kind of scary. And halftime, bless his soul, Joe Bugle called me stud, because he knew I wasn't going nowhere. I was going to be in pocket. He called me pocket. He walked up to me. He said, "Hey, stud, you don't have to play the second half." And I told him, I said, "Hey, coach, I started this game. I'm going to finish this game." Because I thought about, like you say, when I first hurt my knee, Keoka came out there and was about to put it. I said, "No." I said, "Don't touch me."
Right.
I said, because if the good Lord give me an opportunity to get up and walk to that sideline, I'm finishing this game.
1st and 10 of the 35. He's back to pass again, slips and falls, and he's down. Again, that turf, and Williams looks like he's hurt.
When my foot hit that part of the turf, it never stopped going. I never get a grip on the ground, and my foot just slid, kept sliding, and at that particular time, just hyperextended my knee.
The agony on his face kind of tells it all, that we thought that he had really hurt himself really, really bad. And, come to find out, he really did hurt himself bad. It probably was something that within the next 2 years would end his career, quite honestly.
What he actually did was almost like a split. And man, I said, oh my gosh, we're probably gonna have a problem here.
All I wanted was the strength of the good Lord to get me up to walk off that football field, because the last person I wanted to play in that Super Bowl. And it sounds, a little revengeful, but it's not so much that as the fact that from the embarrassment that I suffered in 1986, I did not want Jay Schrader to play.
It's 2020. Let's make a splash. Play the DC Lottery's Roaring Cash.
The best team has a great sense of family. The best family has a great culture. And within that culture, there is great character. When you have all those elements come together, you've got a team.
We love the new apartment.
The natural light is amazing.
Hardwood floors.
There is a bit of a clogging problem.
At least Geico makes it easy to bundle our renters and car insurance.
Yeah, helping us save even more.
For bundling made easy, go to geico.com.
DC has a home for the greatest hits of all time.
That would be Michael Jackson for me.
DC's greatest hits.
Madonna.
Billy Idol.
Live here.
Cyndi Lauper.
Bon Jovi.
94.7.
Blondie.
The Eagles.
The Drive.
The Legacy is brought to you by Janet King. Let Janet King get your business back to business. Visit to schedule a disinfecting service today. Which one means the most? Being the first African-American quarterback drafted in the first round, being the first one to be MVP, or simply winning?
It's W, man. This game is about the W. You know, if I had been the second one, going to the Super Bowl, winning is the key. You know, we play this game. I don't play it for stats. I remember I'm going back to playing against the Rams earlier that year in 1979. We played against Pat Hayden.
Yeah.
And Pat Hayden passing completion percentage was probably around 70% or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But on one series, he completed 3 straight passes, and it was 4th and 3. You know, you're gonna complete 3 passes, your percentage is gonna be high, but you punting. You know, I played to win, and to me, I've been a competitor all my life. At the end of the day, you know, I learned a lot from my mom and dad in high school, because when that bus pulled up in front of our house coming from a game, not one time my mom or dad ever asked me, how well did you play? You walk in that door and they say, who won? And that's what Coach Rob used to tell us all the time. When the great scores come, it's not how well you played, but who won. And to me, I grew up winning. That's what it's about.
Do you ever just go, hey, I just love a minute just to walk somewhere and just not be recognized or not have to deal with people? Does it ever get old being Doug Williams?
No, people, man. I've always believed that life is about people. And it's about how you treat people and how people treat you. You know, I'm fortunate enough to be in this position now, not because of what I accomplished, what I did on the field, as much on how I handle people. And because I meet up on a lot of people sometimes, and they come and say, I don't want an autograph, I don't want nothing. I just want to tell you thank you because of something you did 15 years ago. People got a memory of what you do. And as an athlete, you got to always remember, man, you're up under the light. And when you do things, it'll come back to haunt you down the road when you want to do other things. And I've always put myself in position to say, I don't want you to say anything bad about Doug Williams, and we're not going to consider him. You know, my mom has always told me, bless her soul, that if you don't put yourself up so high, you don't have that far to fall. And I think that's a way of humbling yourself and realize that you're just like anybody else out there. And it's just that you was able to accomplish some things that people didn't, but that don't mean you better than they are. It's all about people at the end of the day.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for this week's edition of The Legacy. We will do it again next week, right here, same time, same place. I got the best crew on the earth. You know that. Love them to death. Love you too. See you next week.